Hello and a very warm welcome to all our listeners around the globe. You're listening to Hartwig's Tech World. Bianca, I've got to say, the feedback from our international community on YouTube has been incredible. That's why we've officially moved to this weekly deep dive format. It gives us the room to really breathe and look under the hood of these topics.
Hi, everyone. I totally agree, Hartwig. Skipping the daily noise to focus on the big shifts once a week is a game changer. And speaking of big shifts, Google just dropped a massive bomb with the first beta of Android 17. We've touched on it before, but Cinnamon Bun is proving to be much more than just a sweet name.
It really is. Let's talk about the technical core. For me, as someone navigating life with hearing loss, the new Medical Devices API in Android 17 Beta 1 is a milestone. Google is finally treating medical peripherals as first-class citizens. Instead of my hearing aids being handled like a cheap pair of Bluetooth buds, the system now manages them through a dedicated companion device manager. This reduces latency and ensures that switching between a phone call and a YouTube video is actually seamless. It's about dignity through technology, really.
That's such a powerful point. But beyond accessibility, Google's also forcing the industry's hand regarding productivity, right? I heard about the new mandatory app adaptability.
Exactly. For years, Android tablet and foldable users have suffered from poorly scaled apps. In Android 17, the opt-out for landscape mode is gone. Developers are now required to make their apps responsive. If you have a large screen, the app must use it. Combine that with the new generational garbage collection in the OS kernel, which basically makes memory management way more efficient, and you get a desktop-like experience that finally feels mature. No more stuttering during heavy multitasking.
That sounds like a huge leap for the Android ecosystem. But let's talk about the pipes that deliver our data. You've been looking into the latest from Vodafone and their cable network upgrades.
Yes, and this is a classic example of squeezing more life out of existing tech. Vodafone is rolling out an upload boost for their cable customers, pushing the speed up to 75 Mbps. Now, international listeners might say, Hartwig, that's not symmetrical fiber speed. And they're right. But for a network based on DOCSIS technology, 75 Mbps is a significant win. They're using a high split procedure to clear out old frequencies, some of which were used for old analog TV signals, just to widen the upload lane.
So it's about making things like 4K video calls or uploading this very podcast much smoother for the average household.
Precisely. It's about stability. In a world where we all work from home and sync huge files to the cloud, that jump from 50 to 75 Mbps can be the difference between a dropped connection and a successful day. It's a marathon for the providers, but it's a vital one to keep cable competitive.
Vital, but also expensive, which brings us to our next topic. You almost dropped your coffee earlier when you saw the latest reports on hardware component prices.
I'm not joking, Bianca. This is serious. We are in the middle of a global memory war. Because every major tech company is frantically building AI data centers, the production of standard consumer RAM and SSDs is being sidelined. Manufacturers are prioritizing HBM, high bandwidth memory, for AI servers. The ripple effect? We're looking at price hikes of up to 110% for standard DDR5 RAM. If you're thinking about building a new PC or buying a laptop this year, my advice is do it now. The cheap hardware era is taking a forced break in 2026.
That's tough to swallow, but let's end on a high note. A world premiere in accessibility at Frankfurt Airport. You've been following the Auracast trial.
This is pure sci-fi becoming reality. Frankfurt is the first airport globally to test Auracast at gates A16 and A17. Usually, at an airport, you're struggling to hear boarding announcements over the noise of 1,000 travelers. With Auracast, the announcement is streamed via Bluetooth LE audio directly to your compatible hearing aids or headphones. It's crystal clear, personal, and ignores the ambient noise. If this becomes a global standard, the era of distorted, screeching public loudspeakers is over. It's a massive win for international travelers.
Technology making the world a smaller, more accessible place. I love it. Hartwig, we've covered a lot of ground today, but it was worth every minute.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, whether you're on a Pixel with Android 17 or waiting for that Vodafone boost, stay curious. But before we sign off, Bianca, let's hear the quote of the week.
Here it is. Hardware is the skeleton, software is the soul, but it's the connection that creates the music.
Beautifully said. Until next Saturday, keep tinkering. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.